Hey everybody, we're going to start using AutoCAD today. Uh, we're going to draw these real simple drawings. This one is called the base plate. This one's called the adjusting arm. You've got a handout either on your computer or a piece of paper that you can use. Our overall dimensions of this one is 8.5 inches long or wide, and it's 5 inches tall. Well, anytime we start our drawings, most of the time we do start with a box. So let's do that to start with. Let's draw a box. And I'm going to go up here and click on the line command. And if you notice down here at the bottom, one of the first things it says is line, specify first point. So I'm going to randomly pick a point here. Just click on a point, and now it says specify next point. Well, what we've got, anytime you see these green tracking lines like this, it's clicking into place and trying to help you draw. So this is trying to help you draw a horizontal line. This would try to help you draw a vertical line. And I've got it set up now. Your computer's set up to where you can click into 45 degrees as well. If we have any other angles, we kind of have to tell the computer what to do there. So let's draw our horizontal line first, our top line. It needs to be 8 inches. If you notice at the top of the screen right now, it says 3.57. If I move it, it gets bigger. Anytime you see a blue box like that, we can type in a number and tell it how long we want it. So I'm going to type in 8.5 because it's 8.5 and hit enter. And there's me a line 8.5 inches long. Now then I'd like a line going down, so I'm going to start my line going down with my mouse. And this one's going to be 5 inches long. So once I type in 5, I'm going to hit the enter key. And there's that. Now I'm going to turn and go back the other way. And I could type in 8.5 again because we want to make a rectangle. Or I can use what's called object tracking. So any line has got 3 known points. It has 2 endpoints and a midpoint. Well, in AutoCAD, if you've got object tracking cut on, I can come up here and hover. Now, I'm not going to click with my left mouse button or my right mouse button. I'm just going to hover over that point for just a second. And what it's doing is it's finding that point. And now look, if I pull straight down, I get another one of those little green lines. And it's showing me that it's going to track vertically right there for me. And as I come down, it'll even find the horizontal point where it intersects. So look at this, see there? So now I've got a horizontal green line and a vertical green line. If I've got both of those, all I have to do is mash the left button. That's clicking. Anytime I say the word click, that means mash the left button on the mouse. So click. And now I want to go back to that endpoint. Well, remember, it recognizes object snaps. So see here, see how I get a square? The little green square, that means it's found the endpoint of that line. It doesn't matter if I'm touching it or not. As long as I see the green box, I can left click right there and it'll go straight to that point. To get out of the command, I'm done drawing my line. I'm just going to hit my enter key. So there we go. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to lay out this square in the middle, and this square is 3 inches square. So to do that, I really need a good place to work off of. We know that it's dead center on the sheet that we've got. It tells us that it's 4.25 inches in from this side. Well, the whole thing is 8.5, so 4.25 would be dead center. So I'm going to draw me a line, and I'm going to find the center point of this line. Look, a green triangle is going to appear. There it is. And now I'm going to go down. There's my green line, and I'm going to go down to the center point at the bottom line and click. Now I'm going to hit enter and get out of the command. So there's me a vertical line right in the middle of the box. I can do the exact same thing left to right. So I'm going to go into the line command. Green triangle, horizontal line, green triangle. Enter to get out of the command. So see, now what I've got is I've got this laid out, so now I can make this box using these lines. I'm going to show you how to use one of our modify commands. Modify means to change something. Draw obviously means to draw lines, circles, arcs. We'll find out what polylines are later. But modify means to change something by either making it bigger, smaller, changing its shape, changing its direction, anything you can do to adding some stuff. So I'm going to use this command right here. It looks kind of like a racetrack, a part of a racetrack. This is called offset. So I'm going to click on offset, and what offset does, like this vertical line here, if I want one just exactly like it here, I can do that. It'll make the identical thing perpendicular to it. So it's great. So the first thing it asks for is specify offset distance. Remember, you have to read what the computer's saying to you because you've got to answer its questions. So how far do I want to go from the middle out? Well, this square is 3 inches wide. So from the middle out, it would be 1.5 inches. So I'm going to type in 1.5 and hit the enter key. Now it says select object, and then after I do that, it's going to ask me to select the side. Click, and look, Which side do I want on? That side or that side? It honestly doesn't matter because I need one on both sides. But let's go to the right first and just click. Notice I'm not touching the line over here. I'm not getting really close like that. It doesn't matter as long as it puts it to the right. So I'm going to click right there. I'm still in the command. It says select object offset. So I'm going to click on that middle line again and go to the left. And because it's remembered my size and I'm drawing a square, I can do the exact same thing with my center line going horizontal. Click down, click up. See my square there? Okay, so I'm going to hit the enter key. Now I need to clean this square up. I need to make those lines shorter. Well, there's a couple of ways of doing that. One way of doing it is by clicking on the line and see the little blue boxes on each end and one in the middle. These are called grips. And the only way you can get that to appear is if down here at the bottom it says type a command. And mine says it right now, so I'm going to click on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to left click on that blue box and I'm going to drag it back to where that line intersects it. So I'm going to click on it. Now look, I've got control of it. See there? So I'm going to drag it horizontally straight back. I'm going to get an X because X means intersection. Click. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now I'm going to zoom in. The way I'm going to zoom in so I can see what I'm doing is I'm going to roll my roller wheel away from me a little bit. Look at there. I can see it better when I roll in. So now I'm going to click on that X and I'm going to drag it across till I get, that box until I get my X. There we go. Now I can zoom back out. There we go. Let's do the same thing to the bottom one. Click, drag over to the X, click, drag over to the X. Make sure you don't get on the box and then hit escape. Now there's another way of doing that. We have another modify command. It's the one up here that looks like a pair of scissors. It's called trim. See? Trim, anything that I click on, it will get rid of that part of that object. So if I want to get rid of an entire line, I'm going to use the erase key. See, it even looks like an eraser. But if I want to get rid of part of it, like that part right there, I'm going to click on trim. And now I'm going to left click on that, and left click on that, and left click on that, and left click on that. And I'm going to hit enter. Look at there. There's my box. Okay. So now for these two little rectangles, one on each side. From here to here, according to our sheet, is 1 inch. From here to here is 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go back to offset. And it says the same thing, specify offset distance. But look over here in this less than or greater than. It says 1.5 inches. Remember, that's the number we put in to do our box a minute ago. It will remember the last number you put in, which is handy sometimes, okay? But we really don't want 1.5, we want 1. So I'm going to just type 1 and I'm going to type enter. Now I can go click and take it that direction. I'm going to get out of the command by hitting enter. I'm going to go right back into the command. Let's go back to offset. And now I need to go 3/4 of an inch. Now there's two ways I can type 3/4. I can either type 0.75. See it in the box on the screen? I'm going to backspace it. The other way I can do it, if you don't know what the equivalent of a fraction is, you can always type 3/4. That's still 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to hit enter, click, and go that way. There we go. Pretty neat, huh? Now I need my top line and my bottom line. All right, this is a neat trick. I want to show you this. I'm going to go to the line command. And notice it says specify first point. I'm just going to hover right here. I'm not clicking at all. I'm just hovering, letting the mouse sit there. It says that it's 1 inch down to that bottom line. So if I hover there, notice it still says select first point. Now I'm going to start tracking down that line. It's still saying select first point. And I'm going to type in 1 inch down from where I'm at and hit enter. There's my first point. Now I can just take it right over to that line. There we go. That's what I need. Now I need the very same thing up here. Well, here's another command. Look at this one, mirror. So because I've got a middle line that would be dead between this line and this line when I get it put in, I can use mirror. Watch. I go to mirror and it says select objects. Well, right there's the object I want to mirror. That's the only one I want, so I'm going to hit enter. I can select a bunch, but that's the only one I want. Hit enter. And now it says specify first point on mirror line. Any part of this line, because it's halfway between this one and where I want it, will work. So I'm just going to click here. I'm going to drag straight across. I could go to this endpoint or I can come all the way out here as long as I stay dead center between what I've got. I'm going to click, and now it says erase source objects. That's my source object. I want to keep it. So it says no. It says no down here. So I'm just going to hit the enter key. Now I can use my trim function again. Clean it up, clean it up, clean it up, clean it up. There we go. Now I need one of these boxes just exactly like it over here. Hey, we can use mirror again. Let's go back to mirror. And now watch, I'm going to look where my cursor's at. I'm going to start here. As long as I'm completely to the left of my object, I'm going to start here and I'm going to click one time my left mouse button. I'm going to get a box completely around that. If you notice, it's sort of highlighted. And I'm going to click one more time. Don't hold the left mouse button down. Click and click. And now I've got it. So I'm going to hit enter. Select first point of mirror line here, and I'll just go all the way down to the bottom. Here. Do I want to get rid of that? No. So it says no, so I'm going to hit enter. Look how simple. Nothing to it. Okay? So the last thing I need to do is I need to cut these corners off. Well, we have a command that does that. Anywhere you see the little bitty white triangles, there's other commands underneath them. Well, this one here is called fillet. That rounds off a corner. But look what happens when I click on that little arrow. Oh man, there's what I want. Cut the corner off. It's called a chamfer. So I'm going to click on that. And now when I get ready to do this, we need to look at our sheet. And our sheet says that this point is 2 1/4 inches in horizontally. And then this angle is 30 degrees from this horizontal line. So because I've got an angle, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click on angle. Now if all I had was distances, numbers, both ways, I'd click on distance. But I've got an angle, so I'm going to click on angle. So it says specify the length on the first line. So in other words, how far is it from here to here? Well, it's 2 1/4. So again, I can type in 2.25 or I can type in 2. Now, that's a whole number and a fraction. I'm going to have to put a dash between my whole number and then my fraction, 1/4. So either one will work fine. There we go. Now watch my angle, 30 degrees. You can see that in my box. I've already done this one time so it remembers it. But anyway, if it wasn't there, I'd type in 30 and I'd hit enter. Now look, it says select first line. That first line is the line that the measurement is on, so it's the bottom one. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to click here, and look right there, how pretty. Now I'm going to hit enter. It's going to take me right back in, and it remembers all my information. Well, again, from the horizontal line to the vertical, hit enter. From the horizontal line to the vertical, hit enter. From the horizontal line to the vertical, hit enter. Look at that. That drawing's done. The only thing I have to do now, click on that line, hit erase. How about that? Pretty smooth, huh? Okay, so let's do this one now right quick. This one, if you look at your sheet, we don't have a box that goes all the way from here all the way out to here. Our measurement goes from here to here. Well, we can do that. So let's start with that, okay? Let's draw us a box again. So we're going to start, and I'm just going to pick a point. I'm going to hover on this point, and I'm going to sort of drag out just so my objects are in line with each other. You don't have to do this, but it looks good if you do. So now, up and down, this object is 4 1/2 inches tall. There we go. Now, how far back is it to that center line? Down at the bottom, it says it's 7 inches. So now, again, I can do 4 1/2, or I can hover and drag back across and click when I get my crossing, and then come over to there, and there's that box that size. Pretty easy, right? Hey, on these corners are cut off, and they're cut off at 45 degrees. So there again, it's a chamfer with an angle. So I'm going to go chamfer, I'm going to go angle, and the distance says 1/2 inch, 0.5, hit enter. The angle this time is 45, hit enter. Okay, so my distance goes left to right again. So line, line, hit enter, line, line. There, that's done that quick. Okay, so hit enter and get out of it. Now we're going to draw our first circle. And notice it's just an arc out here on this end, but I'm going to draw a full circle. I'm going to use, because it gives us radius on our sheet, I'm going to use circle radius. See how it's drawn here? So I'm going to click on it. It's in the middle of this line. And once I click on it, it says my radius is 1 1/4 inches. Look at there. Okay. Now I need to get rid of this and that. So I'm going to go back to my trim. I'm going to get rid of that and that. There we go. Okay. Now my next thing that I need is back here on this end. So look, that circle sticks out past this. So I'm going to go back to center radius because I'm given a radius of 1 1/4, same size that one is. Again, find the midpoint, 1.25 and enter. There it is. Now how about that little circle? According to it, now this is diameter, 1 1/2. So I could double it and get my, cut it in half and get my radius. But look, if I click on that drop down, there's center diameter. So I'm going to click on it, and look, it's going to throw it up there on top. So if I ever need it again, now it's on top. So back to my center point, and this one is 1.5 and hit enter. There it is. Okay. Now these lines from here to here is 2 inches. From here to here is 2.5. It's time to use offset. So the first one is 2 inches. Put in my distance. Now click here and go that way. Hit enter. Go back into the command. 2.5. Give it a new distance and go over. Okay. So this slot is 1 inch wide. Well, that would also be the diameter of these two curves, wouldn't it? So I'm going to use diameter again. Find the midpoint, 1 inch. Go back to diameter, find the midpoint, 1 inch. There we go. Okay. Now I've just got, remember, a circle, a line has 3 known points, endpoint, endpoint, midpoint. A circle has 5 known points. Look when I click on it. The center and the 4 quadrants, north, south, east, and west. So I've got a line going from the top quadrant to the top quadrant, the bottom quadrant to the bottom quadrant. So I'm going to go to line, get that little diamond shape, and go to the diamond shape. Hit enter. Go back in the line, diamond shape to diamond shape. Hit enter. And now I can trim out those little pieces that I don't need, just like before. Click, click. Hey, and while I'm here, let's get rid of that. How about that? There we go. Pretty clean, pretty easy, right? Okay, the next thing we need is we've got a line that goes from here to here. Now notice this line lines up if you look at your drawing. So I'm just going to go line from that point to here. And I'm going to do me another one at the bottom from that point to here. Pretty handy. Now the last thing I need are these 2 arcs. But look, there's where I drew that line, see right there? And then if you come straight out from this point and straight up from that point, that is the center of that arc. Well, right there is that point. So let's do radius. And it's a 1 inch radius, but we've already got 1 inch because we know exactly how far it is. So I'm going to click here, come down here and touch this line and click again. There's that arc. Now I can trim it out. Got to trim out more than one piece on this one. There we go. Okay. You know what? I could trim this out. I don't need that anymore now. How about that? Okay. I got to do the same thing at the bottom. And let's trim it out and clean it up. Okay. There we go. So the only thing we've got left now is our center line. See them? See the long dash, short dash, long dash? Notice that on these inside curves, they don't touch. The reason why, this line can't touch this line. Because if it did, it look like it would go straight through. Same thing here, you got that little bitty gap. But otherwise, if we're just crossing it, it's okay. Okay? So I left these lines on here on purpose. So let's see what we need to do. Well, this line here needs to stay where it's at. See it up here? But it needs to be a little bit longer because center lines go 1/4 of an inch above or outside the arc if it came on around here. So I'm going to click on it. Now I'm going to grab that grip and I'm going to drag up and I'm going to type in a distance, 0.25, to make it 1/4 of an inch longer up. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom and drag it down, 1/4 of an inch longer down. There. Now I'm going to hit my escape key. Now this one is just 1/4 of an inch longer than that arc. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on it. I'm going to drag it down to that point. I'm going to drag it up to that point. And now I'm going to grab it and drag down and say 0.25 to get it outside the arc. Up. Make sure you're vertical. 0.25 and get outside the arc. I'm going to do the exact same thing here. Down to where it touches the arc. Back up 0.25. Same thing on this end. Up to the arc. Back out 0.25. There we go. Okay. So now I need a center line going through the middle of this. Well, now I'm going to draw me a line. I'm going to start at this quadrant. I'm going to draw. And if I touch that circle, it'll show me my center point. And I'm going to stop right there. Now I'm going to make this line 1/4 of an inch longer. Click, drag out 0.25. Click, drag out 0.25. There we go. Okay. We just need the other 2 up here. So I'm going to go line. And look, I'm going to start it here. I'm going to click and go to the center point. Now remember, it don't touch here. So what I have to do is I have to click on it, and I'm going to click on that blue box. I'm going to drag back 0.06, 1/16 of an inch. And I'm going to grab this. I'm going to drag it out 0.25. There we go. I need the exact same thing down here. So I could draw another one, or I can just mirror it. Select that object, hit enter on that line, drag across, and say no. There we go. But look, they don't look like center lines, do they? They don't go long dash, short dash, long dash, all that good stuff. Well, these are called layers. So I drew all these lines. All of these are drawn on the object layer. See? These are on the center layer. So how can I put them on the center layer? Well, just click on them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There they are. I'm missing one. I need to put one more in. See that one? Okay. But I would just move those over to the center layer. There they are. All right, now let's go put our other one in. Now we could change to the center layer and just draw it there if we wanted to. So now I go to line, click here, look, it drew it as a center line because I changed my layer. Now click, back this up a 16th, 0.06, back this up a 16th, 0.06, and there you go. So there's my objects. Look how neat. Real simple, easy to do. Remember, I'm just rolling my roller wheel toward me to go away from me to pull it in. See there? In and out. All right, you're of course only going to draw one of each. You're not going to have to draw two. I just use these as examples. Okay, so go give it a try, see what you think, and let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.